My face currently feels like I've been run through by Tom Stewart.
Puts it to the top of the square. Oh, beautiful little fist in there by Dale. Crucial centimetre moments.
He definitely has a bit of the Belcho spirit. As I have a bit of the Belcho spirit.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Back Pocket Podcast, the podcast equivalent of a Toby Green nut kick. It's half-assed, shouldn't be happening, and no one's doing anything to stop it. My name's Alistair, that's Jack, welcome.
That's me. I did like that the AFL was much more worried about how the footage made it to Channel 9, not 7 or Fox, than they were about Toby Green's attempted donkey kick, but that's where we are as a comp,
AFL?
I guess.
Maybe care more about players being kicked in the nuts.
I would. There's so many things where they were like, oh, it was negligible impact, and there's so many things where it's like if the action is like something like that or anything you could have chosen to suspend it, and they just went, oh, it's too hard, really. But how'd you get that footage, by the way? How'd you get that? Who gave you that? Was it a club? Was it a journalist?
It's very clearly a club, right?
Yeah. Sydney's clearly gone, how the fuck did you guys not spot this? And sent it over. Allegedly. Potentially.
Don't accuse them of anything.
It was a weekend in which Wanganeen-Milera almost single-handedly saved us from the worst weekend of football on record.
One could argue that 3/4 of that game was still dog slot.
Yeah, correct. I've said it's hard to complain about the primetime schedule this weekend when, up until that one, the Thursday night was almost the closest one of all those games. We saw a total of 2 games decided by less than 5 goals, and both of those had more than 5 goal margins at multiple points in those games.
It was a horrible weekend to watch football. Almost any time I sat down, it was dreadful.
Crows and Suns are good, and Melbourne is bad, was about what I got from that.
Yeah, good. It's a very, very good win from Gold Coast. It's worrying. Like, are they actually good, or did Brisbane just have a really off day?
Yeah, it's a weird one, because they were so bad in the second half against Collingwood, and then the week after against Adelaide, and then so good against Brisbane that it's really hard to figure out.
It's a weird form line. What
they actually are. But they played.
Sure, that's an assessment.
Belted Brisbane, which I was surprised by. I don't think I have anything related to this week other than the Toby Green nut kick I wrote down.
Did anything else happen this week?
Nothing really worth talking about.
No.
Oh, I did forget to mention it last week, but you see they're making Amazon's The Test, but for footy next year?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to work. The Test follows what?
11 guys
to
in one
14 guys
in one team.
And one coach.
Not 5 teams in 4 states.
Who all have vastly different results and setups. The footage, I don't remember what the name of the show was, but there's that infamous footage of Stuart Dew just screaming at his players, and I don't know if I don't really find that fun to watch.
No, I get you.
And cricket players are dumb. Football players are on a whole nother level. You can watch the footage of the cricket players in the Test, and they're kind of funny. They are dumb, but at least they're I think they're quite knowledgeable about their sport. And I feel like most AFL players would just go, "Oh, get ball, kick ball, good."
Yeah, coach told me play like this.
Run back, run forward, run all day. That's it. That's all you'd get, and it would be a struggle.
Yeah, I do think so.
I don't know. Well, it could be good. I won't watch it.
Before we move on to next week's stuff, which is way more interesting to talk about, or just future stuff in general, shall we do the votes?
No.
No? All right. It was a hard week to give votes for. Because either A, teams didn't have to defend at all, or B, they failed to defend completely.
I really struggled. I almost wanted to say, do you want to just skip votes this week? And I would still be happy to.
I got 5 out. I squeezed them out. So my one vote was to someone who probably never would have got this vote in a normal week, was to Luke Cleary for the Bulldogs.
Okay.
I know it was in a game where they won by 94 points, but what a good game for a young player.
I feel like you're going to say that about a few people.
Yeah, correct. But what a good game for a young player to really be able to make a good mark on the game. I do have his stats here.
You got no stats from me.
I know he got one coach's vote.
dead air.
This is fascinating listening.
You got to be
Luke
quicker
Cleary
with your
had 17
thumbs.
disposals at 94%. He had 4 score involvements and 2 of those were launches. He had 4 rebound 50s, 9 defensive half pressure acts, and 13.8 rating points,
Oh, good for Luke Cleary.
which is a pretty good game.
Yeah, well, considering some of the other games he's had this year, that's
He's been very up
results.
and down.
But sometimes it's worth persisting with a player like that.
Hmm.
My
Who got
one
your
vote
blessed one
is Oscar McDonald from the Fremantle Football Club. I think he's going completely underrated in their current setup. Obviously, Luke Ryan's got a bit of the praise from you the last couple of weeks, but I think Oscar McDonald's been really unsung, solid in that back line. I think he had 4 contested one-on-ones and won them all. I could be lying. I could be making that up.
Yeah, he's been kind of forced to cover while Pearce has been out
good
and injured and whatever, and he's done a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Like they've needed role players to come in and play roles, and he's one of the ones that's done it.
Were they playing against a forward line of, Shanahan and Williams and whatever? Yes, but I thought he was good.
He still did it. My 2 votes this week is to Tom Barras. He was pretty good, I thought. He only had 13 disposals, but he won at 100%. Of those disposals, 8 of them were intercepts. He had 7 marks, 6 of those were intercepts. He won his only one-on-one, had 1 score involvement, which was a launch, and he had a 13 player rating and 6 coaches' votes. He was good.
I went the other way with my 2. I've gone James Sicily for my 2. 10 coaches' votes. I know he was intercepting against a pretty bog average side, but I thought
Sicily
he was quite good.
5.
Really?
Yeah.
I really have struggled to give anyone votes in any of these big wins, and I know that was one of the smaller ones. But
5. I think that he was actually really influential in that game. Carlton played a pretty good second half after getting blown off the park in the first quarter.
It was an interesting game because you couldn't really tell have Carlton stepped up a gear or if Hawthorn dropped
taking
off.
the foot off.
And I still don't know.
After the game, you said if you'd been told before the game that it would be a 4-goal loss, you'd have been like, oh, that's not too bad. But yeah, 25 disposals, 14 of those were intercepts, 11 marks, 7 of those were intercepts, 6 spoils, 18 player rating, 2 weeks in a row of good football from Sicily. Not great, but good football.
Good football gets you a 5.
Better than he has been this week, yeah. Which is better than he has been for months, I'd say. Okay, so who...
You don't get any more votes from me
3.
yet. You got to do your 3.
My 3 was to Harry Harrelson Himmelberg.
That's not his name.
He had 23 disposals at 91, 8 intercepts, 11 marks, 4 of those were intercepts. He won both his one-on-ones, had 4 score involvements and 1 launch. He was really good, especially in that when they just floored back into that game. It was a really weird watch because, obviously GWS dominated that quarter, but Sydney were still getting it in the midfield and getting inside 50s, but every time they went in, GWS repelled it, and every time GWS went in, they kicked it from anywhere and it went through. It was one of the more ridiculous quarters of goal kicking I think I've ever seen.
It's just what it's what GWS do.
Yeah.
Flick it through.
And then, at the other end, Sydney was kicking it straight to Himmelberg, Buckley and Taylor all day. So that was my 3 votes. Who was your 3 votes?
My 3 votes goes to Jackua Henry from the Geelong Football Club.
He was pretty good.
I've just written down really good game against a shit team.
Yeah.
I think he won all of his contested one-on-ones. I briefly looked at that. I didn't write it down because it was a shit week for these votes, so I'm just giving it off the cuff. But he was good.
So I'm not going too in-depth with the stats this week because they were mostly bad. My 4, which I'm wondering if it's your 5, was to Nick Flostone.
That is my 5.
He had a 24.8 player rating, which for starters is insane. He had 17 intercepts from his 25 disposals, 7 marks, 4 of those were intercepts, 8 rebounds. He split his one-on-ones, won 1 out of 2 of them, and got 8 coaches' votes. He had 4 score involvements and 3 score launches. He was obviously very, very good. To get 8 coaches' votes in a game where Collingwood just kind of held them at bay all game is seriously impressive.
He and Broad are the poster boys for players you want leading a very young side.
Yeah,
and if you'd said that about Nathan Broad 5 years ago, we would have laughed right in your face.
I was talking to someone recently when I was working a waffle game about how it was really funny that he went from being a very lucky 2-time premiership player, like both years he only came in to cover for injuries or suspension and stayed in the side, to being a really important member of a 3-time premiership team who's leading them into the future. And what a crazy turnaround that is as a footballer.
Yeah, respect on his name.
And then Flostone is... we've been talking about saying it's a shame he never got All-Australian. He's pretty much on track this year to be an All-Australian.
I hope he gets
now.
it, because
very cool.
you can say all you like that Jack Crisp is the most underdone player that's never won one. Nick Flostone's right there.
Absolutely. So who then is your 4?
Yeah, shocked I didn't get a vote from you. Joel Jeffrey from the Gold Coast Suns.
He was good. Yeah.
Yeah, Daniel Rioli, he smashed it. He went beast mode. Where is the...
Bring up his stats.
I did have it.
I'll get up what I can. Hold on.
32 disposals at 91%, 7 intercepts. He had 10 rebound 50s.
12
that's all you get from me.
4 score involvements. He was very good.
I'm not fucking around and flipping from the AFL app to the AFL website back to the AFL app.
Yeah, I know.
I'm done with that.
That game was crazy after how Freo really took the game by the throat against Gold Coast as soon as it got wet, compared to this game where Gold Coast seemed to get better in the wet. Maybe they've learnt from their mistakes. Maybe that's been the story of this season. Every time they have something go wrong, they're really drilling down on it.
Well, I mean, you look at who was... Well, not using fantasy points as like a measure of good, but Matt Rowell, Fiorini, Humphrey, Davies, Jeffrey, Anderson, Witts are their top scorers. Yeah. So that pretty much just says their midfield went crazy.
Yeah.
37 from Rowell, 32 from Fiorini, 30 from Davies. Has that ever happened before? Probably not.
So. He also had like 11 tackles or something stupid. My special mentions this week, outside of who we've already voted for, were to Harry O'Farrell for his 13 marks into his 5th game.
He was really good.
I thought it was really impressive. Josh Worrell, who's mounting a really good All-Australian case if they actually pick a third size guy instead of 3 key defenders and 3 small defenders. Charlie Dean, who maybe is not as bad as Pies fans were telling me early in the year. And Mac Andrew. Mostly for his round-high 14 spoils. The most intercepts was Flostone with 17. Sicily had the most intercept marks for 7. Alir won all 7 of his one-on-ones in that absolute mauling in the showdown. And rebound 50s, your man Joel Jeffrey and Kane Farrell. Very different reasons though.
What else could Kane Farrell do in that game?
Yeah.
I looked it up. Alex Davies' best possessions before last weekend was 22. So I was correct.
And we were
never
just
happened
talking
before.
about him recently about how he, maybe should have taken that trade offer to Collingwood last year, but if he can keep a spot on that side, maybe not.
Yeah, all depends on Miller, right?
Yeah. And every show in the world has talked about it all week, but the meltdown from Melbourne's entire unit as a team was impressive to behold.
It was very confusing because I was not aware that after a 6-6-6 rule,
you have to go back to
everyone had to go back to their position, but you can go anywhere within that centre square.
Yeah, like the fact that their midfielders weren't at the edge of the square. Viney was lining up on the true wing instead of at the edge of it. And Pickett just didn't follow Wanganeen-Milera inside 50. It was...
I totally understand
bizarre.
Maybe Jack Viney's train of thought being Wanganeen-Milera is standing right next to Rowan Marshall and is obviously going to be asking for the handball. I can run in from the wing to impact that, and that did not happen. As soon as Nasiah Wanganeen-Milera took off, Viney was never catching him.
I think there was also a bit where, the forwards clearly saw Wanganeen-Milera telling them to keep out of that space. But somehow Melbourne's defenders didn't see him.
Well, I don't know if you saw the particular footage, but Jake Bowie was guarding that space, and when the play started, he turned around and walked back towards...
It was a complete meltdown. My favourite footage was Choco counting.
That's funny.
It's so funny after the 6-6-6 meltdown.
He was like, maybe we can do a head count. Yeah.
I followed up on something that you said last week.
Oh, God.
After Adelaide, might have been before, anyway. Adelaide belting Gold Coast basically was what brought it on, and I said about how they were probably flag favourites, and they were.
Oh, right, I did say that.
They haven't played in or won a final since 2017.
Nope.
So that's 7 years without playing in the finals. In the AFL era, only 2 sides have ever won a grand final, whilst missing 2 or more previous final series, which is Melbourne in 2021, who'd only missed 2 years, but they were 9th the year before.
Yeah.
And Adelaide in 1997, who'd only missed for 3 years, and they played finals the 3 years prior to that. So they would be a serious anomaly.
They are the least experienced flag favourite, probably since the Baby Bombers, right?
Yeah, and I think that the only thing that works in their favour is they will almost definitely get a top 4 finish, which means that they will get they will get a final that they could lose.
Yeah.
And then play another one, and they'll very likely both be at home.
It depends on who they play, and if they lose that first final, it really depends on who they play. If they play GWS, that could be a problem.
You wouldn't want to cop the Bulldogs if they're on.
You also saw what happened in GWS last year.
There are, and GWS being in a commanding position in both games and dropping out of them. But I did think it was interesting to see that no one's really done it. Very rare that teams even win a grand final after not playing finals for 1 year before. So it really would be an outlier.
How many players on that list would have experience right now? Walker, Laird, Crouch,
Neil Bullen,
obviously. Two GWS boys, but
Bergman had the worst and funniest clearance of the year. That really summed up the entire showdown.
If you've ever watched a YouTube compilation of AFL fails, you'll see that one about 80 times in every video.
It's going to be in there forever from now on. He just laced him out. Essendon set to play at least one more debutant this week, with Wynn coming in, which means they're up to 14.
Cannot wait to hear every single commentator say his name differently.
Ewan?
You'll hear that one the most, I reckon.
Do you have stocks up and stocks down this week?
I do, but it's interesting. Stocks up, stocks down this week. Do you want stocks up or stocks down first?
Stocks up?
Stocks up. 10 goal holes. God, they're fun to watch. I love it when a team picks out a player and tries to get them to 10 goals. Do you want my stocks down?
Yeah.
10 goal holes.
Yeah, because it was a boring game. The fact that after half-time, the only reason to watch that game was...
Hey, at least it gave you something to watch.
Was can Geelong win by 100 and can Jeremy Cameron kick 10 goals? They were the only two things that were...
I'm thinking about the most recent 10 goal hauls that I can think of. And obviously, Taylor Walker did 10 against West Coast. West Coast are a generationally bad team at the moment.
Josh Bruce against North.
Josh Bruce against North was another one. Charlie Curnow also against West Coast. I mean, he was playing on Oscar Allen at some point when they swapped him back because they just couldn't handle him. 10 goal hauls is a sentence I can't say. If you go back 30 years, I feel like it could have happened against anyone.
Yeah.
Like, you could be playing a top 4 clash and someone could kick 8 to 10 goals.
That's because teams know how to do team defence now. So unless you're getting ruined.
We were looking at Buddy Franklin's 100 season recently. He kicked 8 goals in the first final against the Dogs. That's
after already having 100.
After already having 100. Like, if Jeremy Cameron does that in finals against good teams, big thumbs up. But right now, it's like, we played North.
Yeah, like he kicks 4 and 5.
And we go back and it's like, Charlie...
He does kick 4 and 5
Charlie
against...
Cameron. Charlie Curnow, he kicked 10 against West Coast.
Yeah, like he does kick 4 and 5 against good teams, but never, 8 to 10, which is the thing. And I did laugh, actually. I was looking at
It's never a dominance either. Those 5 goals feel very laconic, very lazy, out of nowhere.
The Franklin one's really
nothing
funny.
Against Cameron, he's really good.
Yeah, obviously. But it has been strange. Like, his better games have been his 2 and 3 goal games this year.
Yep.
Seemingly. I did think it was really funny looking back at the Franklin year after everyone being like, Cameron's only going to kick 100 because he's got shit teams in the run home. And I looked at the Franklin year and I went...
They played Carlton in the last round.
His highest team he played in the last 5 games was the team that finished 8th. And he kicked 8, 6, 4, 5, 5 on that run home.
Yep.
Same thing. Like, if you see a player's on track to 100, you try and do it. Like, And with Geelong's run home, they'd be silly not to have a go. But you don't want to break the structure.
You also can't rest him either. You got to hope you get it over with quickly so you can rest him in that last round.
So I guess I'll do my stocks up and stocks down back to back.
Oh yeah, I'm done with mine.
My stocks up. I said it was really tough to do a stocks up this week, but Gold Coast's chances of winning a final, I think, for me. I previously thought they would make the top 8 after a couple of their wins, especially against Collingwood. I still think they'd struggle to be top 4, but I do give them a red hot go at knocking off one of Hawthorn, GWS, Bulldogs or Freo if they cop them, especially at home in the first week.
That win against Brisbane's really cemented that possibility.
Huge.
Because they've got that bonus game against Essendon, which, let's be real,
it is a bonus game.
They're not going to lose that. If they lose that...
It's the most Gold Coast. They've got Richmond this week and Essendon to finish the year. They've got Port as their second last game. That should be
three fifth, percentage boosting
They should be finishing 5th with the draw they've got. My stock's down, and I'm going super early here, but... my stocks down is on the incoming head of football, Greg Swan's first media appearance.
Cool, awesome. I wanted to do it, but I thought doing a stocks up and stocks down at the same was funnier.
Yeah, that was funny. Making the stand even more strict is insane. I feel like that's the opposite of what people want. Empowering Michael Christian to make more flexible calls instead of getting rid of Michael Christian. Scrapping the sub to a 5-man bench.
I actually like that rule.
But it will become 5 on a sub
I know.
so quickly. No full-time umpires because the umpires don't really want to. Too fucking bad. Tell them to be full-time. Caring more about the vision of Toby donkey kicking, forgotten his name, goalpost climber, Rampy. Caring more about the vision of that reaching the media than he clearly did about it happening. It was a whole clusterfuck. There was so much in that interview where I was like, oh no.
There's also the reports of him walking into the office and going, I am getting my own secluded office. I will not be working in an open plan office. Give me an office now.
It's going to be really interesting. I was going to say funny. It'll actually be a bit disappointing. But it'll be really interesting to see over the next few years him make decisions just as bad as Laura Kane's, but they won't be as bad.
Because he's from Clubland.
Not a woman.
Yeah.
It is really interesting. I thought that exchange between Caro and Nick Riewoldt the other day was really interesting, where she called Nick Riewoldt sexist.
Well, he is.
And yep.
Wasn't he on one of those shows talking about how woke football was recently?
Yeah. And then someone was like, more like the gender setters. And I was like...
That's a good joke.
Put me on the gender setters. What do? They go around to players and they're like, you're a man?
Yeah, they assign genders, and that's the kind of authoritarian bullshit you'd be into.
What is your game of the week for next week?
I don't know. You're going to be on
I've got them here.
setters?
I'm going to be on gender setters. First one is Bulldogs GWS on Thursday night.
2 games.
Thursday,
Friday. Look good.
Prime time looks
probably
good.
Won't
Probably
be.
Adelaide will beat Hawthorn by 80 and GWS will beat the Bulldogs by 76.
I think for my heart, my game of the round is Melbourne West Coast, because I feel like West Coast could do something.
No
there.
Reid. I don't think they can win another game this year without Reid.
You gotta have faith.
It would be funny.
Faith.
It'd be funny.
Hilarious.
Imagine after not sacking Goodwin this week.
He would be gone, right?
They lose to West Coast next week.
No, I guess...
I think purely for the fascination around 8th spot, it's Bulldogs GWS for me. Bulldogs need to win that game.
Collingwood-Brisbane's really juicy.
Odds. And that's for Brisbane top 4, Collingwood top 2.
Neither of those teams can afford to lose that.
There's a real big chance Geelong jump them into second if they also lose to Adelaide.
And I have a feeling that one has the best chance of being actually good. GWS Bulldogs, whilst they have a rivalry, that could either be an 80-point win either way.
I also think...
You blow either way.
That's why I'm on the gender setters. Freo Carlton, I also think, based on... it was like the Carlton-Melbourne game a couple of weeks ago. They just play good games in recent years. Freo Carlton has been a really good matchup for 4 or 5 years now, and I think that regardless of the form Carlton are in, I think that could be another one.
I have a feeling
Freo
owes some pain to Carlton for all those close losses, and I have a feeling it might be a drubbing.
I'll
be there.
Remember last year when Carlton, and you do, lost that game at the end of the year?
Maybe.
And everyone was like, and now Freo can make finals. And then Freo got pumped by Port at home. Because I remember it really well. I also think it was because all the people gloating about Carlton, and then Carlton didn't even move on the ladder.
St Kilda
and St Kilda got 2 picks further down the order. I do think that's an interesting game as well, because this is the kind of game that the old Freo would lose.
I don't think they'll do it.
I don't think they'll do it.
I think they'll do it.
But I think it's an interesting game for those reasons.
I feel like they've turned a corner with that.
If North and Carlton both get their shit together, we could have 5 pretty good games this week.
That's a wild statement.
They're both very unlikely. One or the other, give us something. I did think on the weekend that it was very funny to me,
unlike you,
that Caleb Daniel is on the outer at North, and they're talking about the security of his spot in the team, and Jack McRae spent 15 of the 32 minutes of that last quarter come back on the bench, and yet 10 weeks ago, Bevo was fucking nuts for letting them go.
He's replaced them effectively with Fraser, who is better than Daniel at current point, and younger, and Matt Kennedy, who has had a better season than McRae.
Yeah, he's clearly covered those.
Look,
they need a key defender. They haven't lost one of those. They need one of those.
We make a lot of fun of Bevo. We love saying Bevo boys.
Crazy Bevo.
We love it, but he is a good coach. He's still there for a reason.
He's clearly a good coach.
The players clearly like him as well.
He's the only coach of a Marvel club that's been successful consistently for about 10 years. I do think it's funny. If they can get a key defender, hopefully Buslinger is the guy. He's playing again this week. We'll see.
I mean, if they've got money, throw it in for Jack Silvani if he's going cheap. Give him 5 years at $700K.
The report now is that it's the same deal.
Yeah, but then other clubs come over the top saying, "Hey, we'll give you $800K."
Bulldogs absolutely should do that.
Why wouldn't they?
Straight swap Hugo Hagen.
No, it's a free agent.
I don't know where.
He's a free agent.
He is, yeah.
He can walk.
Yeah.
$800K. I don't even. Did they say it had to be like $900K to get first round compo this?
Yeah, I think so.
So
Carlton get 2 first rounders, didn't they? Make that first round really funny because again,
St Kilda would not get pushed back, but they'd probably still complain.
Then you go like West Coast, Richmond, Essendon, North, Essendon, Carlton.
There is no feasible world, and I'm sorry
Sam
to turn
Draper
this
can't
into
be
trade talk.
A first round.
They can't be giving him that. It has to be like Joe Danaher juice numbers to get him out of there because $900K is not happening on his exposed form. His age, his recent injuries, his Achilles as well. Mm-hmm. There's no way. And Oscar Allen can't be getting that either based on his injuries.
We know the AFL loves to give more to weaker teams.
Do they?
On their...
Do you remember when Jared Waite went to North Melbourne and Carlton got nothing?
I do.
He kicked like 150 goals for them.
I do remember that, yeah. Yeah, and then because the whole system was fucked because the AFL had such a hand in moving Gary Ablett. Geelong got like an end of first round compensation for that, but then also got a middle of first round compensation for Stephen Motlop, and you're like, that's not right. Free agency compensation is broken. If Greg Swan wants to get on one thing,
I understand why it's done the way it's done. Yeah. But I feel like
I think the problem with how it is that the AFL gets to be like, oh, we can't show you the formula because player salaries aren't public. And that's why they get to do whatever the fuck they want. But it's shit. On the topic, if you were saying about the Bulldogs, if the season ended today, it would be the 5th highest, the 4th best percentage in the comp has ever been, with the Bulldogs on like 134 or something at the moment. 4 teams above 130 has only happened 3 times in the AFL era. But in 2011, 5 teams, with I guess because Gold Coast came in that year and everyone was putting on the pain.
It was brutal.
But Collingwood, Geelong, Hawthorn, West Coast and Carlton all had percentages above 130 at the end of that year, which is crazy.
Andrew Walker was held in that goal scorer, I tell you, man. I tell you.
I had a pretty good year in 2011, football-wise. The gap on the ladder between... My voice just disappeared. Between 8th and 1st... keeping in mind the Suns are also a game behind, is the same as the gap between 10th and 8th.
Rough.
So basically it means obviously Sydney finally actually done.
Yeah. I saw someone say that Port was still a chance, and I was like,
yeah, mathematically if
you're insane.
Everything goes wrong for the top 8. It's 12 points and 25% between 10th and 8th. It is 12 points and 15% between 1st and 8th. But if Adelaide, Sydney and Gold Coast win on the weekend and Collingwood lose, it will then be 25% between 1st and 8th and 25% between 10th and 8th.
I'm doing the gif of all the maths numbers flying through my head.
And we talked about the Jeremy Cameron 100 hunt being on. I think the weirdest part of that was Clarko being like, you know what, Comben, you should play forward for 2.5 quarters.
Do you think he's trying to get fired?
I wonder.
Because he still gets paid out if they sack him, right?
Yeah, that's true.
He'll have that on his contract.
Yeah, that's true.
But if he admits that he's senile, and that's probably a bad way to put it, admits that he's past it
and doesn't care anymore,
they won't pay him out. So, like...
Remember when he was a prick and stopped players from getting the 100th goals instead of, like, making it possible again?
It was a rough watch. I remember where I was. I think I was at...
It was like when Fev kicked that 6th goal was when they just went, all right, well, we're putting everyone inside. They're, like, up by 50 points.
How many did he kick in that game?
7 that game.
Yeah, I think he needed 8.
But in the last, he needed 8. He kicked in the last 15 minutes of that game. Carlton had a fuckload of inside 50s. Fev kicked 1 goal, and there was 2, very much in the spirit of Hawthorn 2008. There were 2 rush behinds. They had 1 goal, 2 for that quarter.
I think he sprayed one
second
as well.
half of that. So like, it's very funny that Clarko's gone from that to now being like, you know what, we'll just put Griffin Logue on him, but loosely. loosely
Maybe at the
owned.
start of the season he dropped a whole bunch of cash on
on
Jeremy
him,
Coleman for the Jeremy Coleman. That's what they call him now.
Jeremy Coleman.
Jezza Coleman. That'll piss off a few Carlton fans.
Yeah, I mean, it's he needs 8 a game against Essendon, Richmond, Sydney and Port, which is not impossible considering Port have no defenders left right now
8 a game. That's not right.
from those 4, if they not including finals.
Oh, well, you'd only need 7 from
Essendon, Richmond, Sydney don't have defenders.
So he's going to play on Laverty.
But if they...
Richmond should go okay. I think Richmond will be fine.
They've got a good backline. But if we include finals, then you'd need just over 5 a game.
Lear won 7 contested one-on-ones on the weekend. They lost by, 90 points?
Yeah. But, Geelong would be able to free him up with their...
No, that's what I'm saying. Even when he's on.
Yeah.
Pumped.
But if we include finals, he'd need just over 5 a game.
Oh, yeah.
Because
the real question is, do they let people run on the ground in the final?
It's something that
I don't think they do it in the grand final.
I don't think they do. I said it'd be really funny if, it's a MCG prelim. They're the home prelim team, and they're playing, Adelaide, and they're 50 points down, and he kicks the 100th goal, and everyone was kind of, sadly, just oh, I guess I'll jump the fence. Yeah, sure.
Because I remember you, in particular, being upset when Buddy kicked his 1,000th, and there was still 20 minutes to go.
Yeah, it was
and
2
you're
goals of
now all
difference,
the players are not warmed up.
In a final, it would be really fucked. Yeah.
So I just don't think they can do it.
I think in modern football, it's insane that they let people... I mean, you can't stop.
I feel like that 1,000th has to be the last time they do it.
In modern footy, it's insane. It felt crazy in the Buddy game.
Zach Tui had to fucking hip and shoulder someone.
And then follow that guy for his keys.
It
felt crazy then, because it's just such a different...
And, not to say that
now.
there would be people that would, but,
you just can't take the risk,
you can drop anything. You drop glass or screws or whatever onto the ground.
Yeah.
You can... you could do whatever. You could stab a player.
It's a lot to be especially in a final, right? If it happens
it's romantic. I like the idea of it, but I just don't think...
what if he kicks his 100th goal and it puts Geelong 1 goal up in a
or even
semi-final?
worse, they're a goal down. And there's 10 minutes to go. He kicks it. It's 100. Everyone rushes on and we have to wait 20 minutes because someone has to walk their way down to the rooms to interview him while other people are fucking locked out of the stadium.
It feels like something we can't do anymore. I don't know. It's
Ask
weird.
Greg Swan. At Greg Swan on...
At Greg Swan.
Truth Social.
Truth Social.
That's a wild accusation. I take that back.
Greg Swan on Brisbane Big Footy.
What's that? What's that website? Not Ashley and Martin.
The cheating one. Does that still exist after it got hacked?
I don't think so.
Ashley Madison. That was funny.
Ashley and Martin.
That was really Ashley and Martin. I don't think. If he has been, didn't work. From the few photos I've seen of Greg Swan.
Or he got a very realistic one. So
they did it all the way back. Yeah. No.
This is a bunch of slander.
Look, man, if I had as much money as Greg Swan, I wouldn't mind if he made fun of my hairline, I reckon. That's how I see it. There was a bit of chat this week about the Pride game in Sydney and Qatar again. And there's a few bits of it. I was like, 1, if you think it's a problem, email the club and don't tell their fans not to be happy there's a Pride round.
Yep.
2, your club's probably sponsored by Virgin. That's the same thing.
You probably are a virgin.
Good chance. And 3.
I saw the jumper and I went, oh, cool. And then I went, haha, they had a homophobic player in the VFL the other day.
It's interesting because I think that there's 2 sides to it. 1, really shit that the club that has the Pride game had that. But 2, if anything, that shows why we need to be having a Pride game.
And it's especially disappointing because St Kilda verbally were like, we don't want to participate in this anymore because it's just virtue signalling.
Yeah.
It doesn't help our club at all. I think that one of the things I'm most proud about my club is the fact that they do care about everything. From celebrating small holidays that generally aren't celebrated in Australia through their Twitter account, from doing the Carlton Respects round. Just in general, that stuff makes me happy. I would prefer that than a club going, oh, well, it doesn't make us better. Meanwhile, how many games did St Kilda lose in a row? 9?
Yeah. It's very interesting that it seems to be in modern sport the other way around. Like, the more you get clubs involved in community stuff, seemingly the better they perform.
Yeah.
But Ross is so fucking old school, and so is Silvani, and so is Gubby, that they just don't seem to be able to not be like that. Maybe if that's a sign you need a fresh face, that's probably it. Because it's just a stupid thing to be annoyed about. And I think it's a good jumper. I think the one City did last year, the stripes were a bit too thick, and they went through the sponsor logos, and that looked a bit shit. The old ones were a little bit all over the place. I think it's neat. The lines
it's fine.
That's it. One day we might have a round. Probably not.
No, I'll get that men's mental health round first.
Oh yeah, they will. Yeah, absolutely they will.
I reckon that'll go
It's
as soon as next
Greg Swan's going to be like,
season.
and the men, the boys.
Turned on him really quickly.
It's crazy. I was so ready for someone to have a fresh face, and he's coming and be like, more of the same.
Yeah, it's almost like they get in there and they go, here's the money, now toe the line.
It's like Brad Scott getting out and forgetting all of the rule changes that he made.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't like
I'm
this
sick
rule.
of the
It's like,
sub.
Brad,
You
did
introduced it.
Also, like the him being like, I've never seen a club have an injury crisis.
Didn't Brad
like this.
Scott, as recently
Meanwhile-
as this year, complain about the roof being shut as well?
Yeah, that was also him. The funniest one was when he said about, like, I just don't think I've ever seen a team have an injury crisis like this. Meanwhile, he had to approve West
Top-up
Coast 2022 top-up players when no one else was needing to fucking use them anymore, and they went through 47 players in a year. Like,
It's like almost the single-handed reason we have the mid-season draft,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That and COVID.
it is, people seem to forget how much that season fucked West Coast. The fact that everyone else was...
They finished in the finals in 2020, didn't they?
2020, yeah, and 2021 they finished 9th. They were 7th with 4 rounds to go, lost all 4 of those games. And then 2022, after everyone else was kind of past the COVID problems, there was no more bubbles and COVID was just going around sporadically, because they had so many dads in their team, it just tore through the
Well,
club.
don't forget they in Richmond also had some nightclub incidents.
They did. On your Broady. They, like, where Freo, because they were such a young team, didn't have, like, the school spreading. West Coast had multiple times they had, like, 6 players out with COVID protocols for 2 weeks during that year. And that messes with your, like, you can't have players at training, like, the young players coming through don't get the same development. And that's definitely a big part of why they're in the hole they're in now. Like, it's hard to come back from that. And then they've had 3 players forced to retire from concussion early.
Yeah.
All sorts of shit. Like, they're not...
Their list got sent backwards at a rapid rate.
Yeah, and very funny people are like, well, they put themselves in this hole. So hang on, all the people who put them in this hole have either retired or been sacked. Like, the current people managing the club are not at fault. Like, that, no one currently involved in the club did the Tim Kelly trade. No one currently involved in the club gave Yo this deal. Like, there's all new... Well, Don Pike was involved.
I think Don Pike
was
involved.
The coaches and a lot of the assistant coaches weren't there. Like, it's not...
I can understand why you'd want an experienced player like Yo around. And I feel like he has given a lot to that club.
I just think 3 years was a bit crazy. He played that... They got that miracle year out of him. He played 20 games last year, and they were like, oh, maybe he's back. And then...
Adelaide wanted him.
It's crazy. Adelaide wanting Yo and Petty and not getting them.
It's good for them.
And the Horn Francis...
Because they turned it into Cumming, Peatling...
And the Horn Francis first-round trade they didn't get was they turned into Rankin and Rochelle. Like, Adelaide have...
Fluked.
Lucked out on not getting their way. And then the one player they do get is Neil Bullen, which effectively they got for Shane McAdam, because they traded that for Melbourne's future second and then traded it back for Neil Bullen. They've just, like, rocked
Fleeced.
it. And that's why they're really good now.
It's been some shrewd drafting, and I think a lot of their top-end talent is still a bit like the drafts where they spent money on, like, Pedler and... who's that little fucker? What's his name?
With the moustache?
Nah, the one that really annoys us. He's not. Anyway,
Yeah.
there's a couple, even like Scholl on the wing.
Shoal makers as well, Belly.
Yeah, like a couple of those players are like not the reason they're really good right now, and they could be better if they'd nailed those picks, which is scary.
Yeah. But like the one was still thought, right? Like, he looked good when he came in, and then he got those years off and just got huge.
Turned into a Hulk.
Like he ate the other draftees, I think. That's where I can't remember his name. He had a moustache. He plays for South Fremantle now.
Gallucci.
Jordan Gallucci. That was a bad pick.
Yeah, that one didn't work out.
They had a run of awful ones, and now they're like, we're good at first round picks now. Like, Dan Curtin's going to be...
Yeah, he looks like it's a real miss on some of those other teams that slept on him.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all I've got to talk about this week. You all did?
I think we should wrap it up.
I think we should wrap it up. And hopefully we'll come back and we won't be like, every game was 100 points this week. We might, though, because, boy, there's some doozies on there. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to The Back Pocket. We will see you next week.
Bye.